Hey gang, I finally got all this technical gee whiz stuff worked out. I had a few problems this morning getting the camera set up, but anyway, I think we got it now. So how's everybody doing? Who all's here? Let's see. Hey Kevin. Hey Carl. Hey Mrs. Let's see. How you guys doing today? It's a nice cold day out here. Hey gang, but finally got all this technical gee whiz stuff worked out. Had a few problems this morning. There we go. Turn the volume down on the monitor. Awesome. So I'm out here in the shop today, and it's pretty much a freebie day today for you guys. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can look at whatever you guys want to look at. I'll try to explain anything you guys want me to explain. So fire away. Cheers, everybody. I'm only going to do probably 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. That way I can get back inside and kind of gear up for Mark's birthday show. And I hope he's having a great day. Mark, if you're out there, buddy, I hope you're having a great day. Happy birthday. Welcome to 50. You're over the hill. It sucks. Yeah. I highly recommend a midlife crisis. It kind of helps you get through the day and just come to the realization that you've got more behind you than you have in front of you. So, happy birthday. But at any rate, so what do you guys want to do? Hey Mark, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, I'm live. Here we are. What you got in your mind? You having a good birthday? I hope you're having a good birthday. Cheers, old boy. So, I guess I'll talk about a few things that I have in front of me. Actually, I'll wait for that and see if Katrina comes on board. So, does anybody know what this is? This is the pizza cutter, or one of the pizza cutters. So, a lot of folks ask me, hey man, how do you make that disc? Well, I start out with a flat sheet of aluminum and in a jig that's in the Melon Machine over there, and it's sandwiched by two pieces of wood that have a hole in the center of it. So after I square up the hole cutter, or the hole saw rather, I go ahead and I drill the axle hole, and then I switch bits over to an 11/16 bit, and I drill the 4 relief holes. Then I use the 3.5 inch hole saw and cut out the main disc. Once I get the disc cut out, I take it over to the lathe, and I put it in a little sandwich mandrel that clamps the disc so that I can turn the sharp edge on the lathe. It's pretty simple. It's not complex at all. Very easy. The handle is food grade Delrin. I buy it in 36-inch sticks and then cut it down to approximately 7.5 inches. I put a 1 degree taper on the end here, and I cut the relief slot here and drill this hole. This is stainless steel that I press in, and then I'll turn the workpiece over flat, and I use my slitting saw, which is right here. Hang on. I use this slitting saw, which is nothing more than a carbide tip saw blade, and I cut the slot in the workpiece for the disc to go in. Once I get all that done, I put it back in the lathe, and I just kind of clean it up and put the decorative cuts here on the handle. Put a lanyard on, press it, the pin in, and voila, there's your pizza cutter. It's not hard at all. Pretty simple. But people seem to like these. I mean, I guess I see why. It's kind of ridiculous, really, you know. But that's pretty cool. I tend to go that route from time to time anyway. So let me catch up, see who all's here. Yeah, Mark, Eb. Hey, Eb, how you doing? I watched your latest video the other day. It was pretty good, man. You're doing good on that keyboard. I'm proud of you. Nunchucks, huh? You want me nunchucks? Leave it to Mark. I'm surprised you didn't hit me up for the time machine, buddy. You let me down a little bit. You guys are killing me. All right, I'm gonna step to the side. I'm gonna grab something and talk you guys through it, explain to you how I make bolts, nuts, and that sort of stuff that have a hexagon head on it. Be right back. Okay, I'll go back to the pizza cutter disc for just one moment. So, after I cut the disc out, it looks kind of like this. It's kind of rough, it's square, not very pretty at all. This is the tool that I use to machine the sharp edge on it and to turn it to final size. So what I do is I take this piece, which is the part, I put it on this end with the screw, put it together like this, so that I can chuck it in the lathe and then I actually use I think it's a 60-degree bit, and as it's spinning I come in and I touch off on each side, and that gives it the sharp edge. So there you have it. Now this tool is one of my favorites. I really like this. This is the nut that goes to the ball turning attachment. It's one of two. And I start out with just a piece of 1-inch round stock, cold rolled steel, nothing special. And what I do is I put it in this little jewel here. This is a collet block. It's a 5C collet block. So the way it works is I put the collet in here, then put the part in the collet, tighten it up, put it in my vise, and then whenever I use the end mill, every time I rotate the collet block, it gives me a flat edge to cut. And this is how I come up. I don't know if you can see that very well, but anyway, this is how I cut nuts, bolts, stuff like that, anything that I want to hex on. This tool also has a 4-sided piece here for just doing, you know, anything 4-sided. It really helps to index your workpiece. None of us are good enough to dial one in. I don't care who you are and what you say. You're going to get off on one side or the other if you don't have these. So they work really good, and I like them. Roll Tide, Batman. Roll Tide. Good doctor. Kevin, you don't like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Oh, Mark, that reminds me. Move the camera. Mark, that reminds me. It's imperative that you open your gift before the horse race, before we get on the ship, before you even talk about it. Talk about horse racing. Open your gift. There's something in there that's gonna help you. I promise. Captain wouldn't lead you wrong. I promise I wouldn't. But anyway. And maybe today Mrs. will get on the board. She's not even on the board. Batman, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I'm just kind of playing around out in the shop today. Looks like you guys are having fun with each other. I feel weird because I'm never on this end of it. I'm always the one, chatting with you guys. And so here I am looking at you guys chat. I kind of want to chat back, but I don't have a computer. Right now I'm kind of half-assed doing this out in my shop with a cell phone, laptop, or iPad, and a separate monitor. Don't be nervous, Mark. The journey to Hamtree. Yeah, Carl, that kind of touches on Mark's gift a little bit. So I've been working with him for quite some time, trying to teach him how to operate a spaceship. Although I'm an airship kind of guy, I'm not a spaceship guy. Maybe it'll help a little bit. Yes, it's lonely over here. I mean, you know, I'm all by myself out in the shop, and all you guys are like all together in one building, it seems like. It's very strange. But, I mean, it's cool. Yeah, you know, it's fun. But, anyway. Yes, Mark, you crash a lot. You crash a lot. I'm just looking around to see if I have anything impressive to show you. Oh, I do have something. I'm going to turn the camera, raising the camera. Ain't she pretty? It works. It's awesome. Thank you, Mark. That was my first piece of electrical equipment that I've ever fixed with the help of Mark Dennison. I was kind of worried about that. Like I said in the test video, that's those DROs are everything for me. Without those, I'll go back to analog stuff, the Stone Ages, man. And I haven't used that stuff in so long. The other day I made the ball hand or the knob for the ball turning attachment, and I didn't have the DRO, and I'll tell you, I struggled a little bit with that one. So I'm really glad that Mark helped me out on that. So, oh, you buddy. So if you guys in the UK or anywhere else, we're in this shop right now with a lathe and a mill, a bandsaw. Oh, it works great, by the way. It's a great purchase. And all the tools at your disposal. What would you guys build? I'm just curious. You know, I do these videos and I make all these parts and pieces and whatnot. So it'd be cool to hear from you guys. What do you guys? What would you build? Hi, Roy. Glad to have you here, buddy. We're just talking shop. And anything you want to talk about, just spit it out, man. We'll talk about it. Kind of going over a few things that I build out in the shop, some of the tools that I use, and just welcome to our little world. A decent spaceship. Okay, that's gonna be hard to do there, Carl. I don't really have the space for it. I guess we could build it piece by piece and put it together outside. I'm just reading over some of the chat. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You know what's really strange about doing a live stream? Of course, I'm new to it. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out. It's hard not to focus on the chat and stay focused on the stream because I want to chat with you guys, but I'm supposed to be telling you about what I'm doing. It's odd. It's hard to keep up with myself, which my wife says that all the time. You know, you outrun your own brain. But anyway, pan around the. Okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. Let's see here. I'm gonna pick the camera up. So there's the $25 horizontal bandsaw that I bought at a yard sale, and like I said before, I had no use for a wood bandsaw at all. The woodwork that I do is 2x4s, 2x6 decks and stuff like that. So I wanted at the time I didn't have any kind of way to cut metal. So I took the $25 bandsaw and I stepped the gear ratio down with a series of pulleys, and I slowed the blade down enough, and then put a metal cutting blade on it, and turned it into a metal cutting bandsaw. And it works great actually. I don't really cut anything heavy with it. Most of the stuff I cut with it is sheet metal, aluminum, brass, non-ferrous kind of stuff. It handles that quite well. Anything else that I want to cut, as far as heavy cuts, I'll use the new bandsaw, the horizontal bandsaw that I got, that's in the room behind the weird looking arrows there. And I'm very happy with it. It works great. That's just a standard shop press there. This is my Melon Machine. It's an Inco brand. And funny story behind this. When I was building my truck, the little blue Ford that I have, I wanted to put a turbo on it. And the collector for the exhaust on the turbo was too large. Or actually, it's too small. So I took it to a friend of mine that owns a humongous, I mean, this ginormous machine shop in downtown Dothan. And I asked him if he would bore out the center to fit my application. He said, yeah, sure, no problem. So he cut it out for me, and it all worked out. Well, when I went back to pick it up, I asked him, hey man, you know, I'm trying to get my shop back together. Do you have any kind of used machinery or anything like that? He says, matter of fact, I do. I've got a lathe and a mill, and they're pretty much brand new, and I'm looking to sell them. So I told him, hey man, you know what, that brand new mill, you know, that's probably 10 grand. That's a little bit pricey for me. I don't know that I can afford to go that route. And he goes, you can afford to go it, trust me, buddy. So he took me to the back in the storage area, and he showed me this mill machine and the lathe that I have. And he made me a deal that was just ridiculous. There was no way I was not going to buy the equipment. So I called the missus and told her, hey, this is the deal, you know, and she's like, yeah, yeah. So that's how I ended up with my milling machine. And it came with the DRO. It's got the feed as well. Works fantastic. I love it. So that's how I acquired that. And it seems like everything in my shop has a story. Let me see if I can pan around. I gotta move the camera just a little bit. So, my air compressor. You can see my air compressor here. A quick story on that. Before the missus and I moved down here years ago, I had a little shop, and I had a friend of mine that owned a mechanic shop, and he asked me to help him with all the sheet metal and body work on his 68 Camaro. So I said, sure man, bring it on over. So he brought it over, and we started working on it, but my air compressor wouldn't keep up. Well, with all the air tools and such as that. So he said, I'll be right back. So he left, and he gone a couple hours, but when he got back, he had that air compressor in the back of his truck. And we hooked it all up and ended up doing all the work on his car and finishing that, and he was very happy with it. And then when he took the car and everything, I told him, hey man, you know, we can get this compressor unhooked and all that. And he said, no brother, that's yours. That's for helping me out, man. I appreciate it, and I want you to have that. So I was like, wow, I was kind of taken back on that. Nobody's ever given me anything like that, for sure, you know. So that's where the air compressor came from. Pretty cool story. So, all right, I'll pan around to this side. Those are my toolboxes. Give me just a second, I'll catch up with the chat. into remote control cars. Actually, Batman, I have not been into remote control cars. However, I have built and flown a remote control helicopter. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I crashed it like every time I flew it, but eventually I was able to hover it, and it's not that I lost interest. I really enjoyed doing it, but I had so many other things going on in life that I kind of quit playing with it. My life is very hectic, to say the least. But yes, I like remote control cars and stuff. I built a lot of parts and pieces for remote control cars. Here where I live, there's a big gang of guys that play with those, and they come to me from time to time, ask me to help them, with parts and pieces, and of course I do, so I enjoy that. Hey Charlie, how are you doing, buddy? Glad you came along. We're just kind of looking around out in the shop, poking around a little bit. I'm not really building anything today. I'm just kind of talking, chilling out a little bit. Yeah, too many project misses. Yeah, it is. Way too many projects. So, this is my lathe. It came with the mill. I'm very happy with it. I like it a lot. You can see this is one of the cameras that I have set up. So whenever I make parts and shoot the other videos, that's pretty much how it goes on there. And it rides along with the carriage assembly. So this is a knob that I did the video on the other day. I built an upcoming video. There is an upcoming video. This lockdown uses a 3/4 inch wrench, and I have to keep a wrench handy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build this nut using the 5C collet system that I just showed you a while ago, and I'm going to build a nut on here that has a handle here so that I don't have to keep this wrench. So it'll be a quick attachment, if you will, so that I can rotate my tool post. So you can see I have to keep a wrench, and it's just a pain in the ass. So what I'm going to do is put a permanent lock nut on there and go that route. Another project that I'm about to do, I'm about to show you guys how to cut threads on the lathe. I don't know why, but for some reason, a lot of people have trouble with that. So what I'll do is I'm gonna use some Schedule 40 3/4 inch water pipe. It's soft, it's plastic, it's easy to use, it's dirt cheap, and I use that because I'm able to do like teaching videos on that with something that if it gets scrapped, who cares? But then again, it's super easy to cut, super easy to use, and it's real easy on my equipment. So look out for that in the future. I'll be showing internal and external threads, which reminds me I'm going to have to get an internal. No, I've got one right here. I've got a bit right here. Okay. Yeah, look out for that video. It's coming in probably in the next few weeks. But yeah, this is my lathe. Love it. It's awesome. It's a lathe with an awesome DRO that Mark helped me fix. So I'm going to pick the camera up and I'm going to walk over here and show you guys something that you guys may or may not be interested in. I don't know if Katrina's here or not. I wish she was, but she can rewatch at a later time. I'm going to take you guys over to my reload station. Let me pan the camera down just a second. Okay, so here in the United States, it's no big secret. Pretty much everybody has guns. A lot of people target practice. A lot of people hunt. A lot of people just enjoy shooting guns. It's just welcome to the U.S. I don't know what to tell you, but at any rate, Katrina she reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd kind of like to see how you reload the bullets. How do you make the bullets and all that?" So, what I've got here is this is a 5.56 round, 223, AR-15, M16, whatever you want to call it, round. Okay, so I'm going to walk over here in a minute and I'm going to show you guys how I take an empty case, which is this. It's been fired. There's no primer. There's no bullet. I'm going to show you guys how I turn this into this. Okay? And then I'm going to show you guys another round. This is a 300 Blackout. Okay? 300 Blackout is a 30 caliber round, but it also uses the same casing as the 5.56. Now these are extremely expensive nowadays. They're hard to get, they're expensive. So what I do is I take the 5.56 round and I turn it into a 300 Blackout round. And I'll show you guys that here in a minute. But ultimately, we'll take this bullet and we'll fire it, and when we have an empty case, we'll turn it into this bullet. And everything that I use is suppressed. So on the gunpowder, some of you guys that may know, when I use 3031, IMR 3031, and it's kind of a light powder, but I want to slow these bullets down so that they're quiet whenever they go through my suppressor. So, but anyway, let me catch up on the chat right quick, see who's here, who's saying, what are you guys talking about? Dutchman, hello, Dutchman, Doothman. Hang on, let me get my glass right. D-U-T-H-M-A-N. I hope I'm saying that right. Duthman. And hey, roll tide, Katrina, roll tide. All right, I'm going to take you guys over here and show you how reloading works. All right, that's the reloader right here. You can see it's got a hopper. This is where I put the gunpowder in, and I always make these little labels right here. So whenever I'm doing 5.56, 308, 300 Blackout, whatever, they all get a toe tag. And what I do is I write down what powder I use, how many grains of the powder, the caliber, and which projectile that I use. In this case, I use IMR 3031, 21.2 grains. It's for a 5.56. And the bullet is a 55 grain VMAX. That's hard to see. Okay, that is the projectile for a 5.56, AR-15, M16, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Not real sure how well this is going to work, but I'm going to move the camera to where you can see right there. All right, so what I do is I'll start out, and I use this lubrication right here. This is case lube, so I'll spray some case lube on all the brass. And what that does is whenever I put the brass in here and then run it up into the first die that pushes out the primer, which is on a strip for the new ones, if I don't put case lube on there, it would wedge into this die, and I'd have to beat it out, and it would destroy the die. So that's the purpose of that. So the way it works is I put the round in here, and we'll lift it up. It'll deburr, and whenever it comes around, it cycles around to the next station. So once it gets to the next station, I push the reloader down, and that puts the new primer in. So I come back up for the next round. I didn't put one in there. There we go. The next round goes in. It goes to the next station. I push down. And on and so forth. Now this station, this is station 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. Yeah, 5. So I'll put the bullet in, and because this bullet's so small, I kind of have to guide it into the die. I'll just go ahead and finish these out right quick now that I got them going. Okay, there you have it, guys. Brand new bullet. Okay, it's ready to be used. So, Katrina, I hope you like that. You were asking me about that, so there you go. All right, who do we got on the chat? Terry B, hey man, hey, glad you came along. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Mrs. has pulled. Yeah, I don't know how many you've reloaded, Mrs. You've done a lot. Yeah. Back at our old house, we used to just we didn't have as much going on back then, and before we bought this place, and we had a lot of acreage. We had 40 acres, and I had a range, and we did a lot of shooting, a lot of target practice, and all that kind of stuff. And you know, back then, we had a really jacked up administration, kind of like the dipshit we have right now. So he raised prices on everything. So it was definitely beneficial to reload your own ammunition. So me and the missus would just for hours just go out in the reload room. We had a little room set up, and just have a glass of wine. We back then we didn't stream. You know, it just that wasn't a thing. We just turn on the radio and listen to music and reload ammunition. That kind of sounds like a dull life, but we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, you know. But nowadays I don't reload as much. I don't shoot near as much as I used to. I still enjoy it, but just different times today. Hey, Swanjan, I see you there, buddy. Cheers. What time is it? 12? All right, we'll go for a few more minutes. Like I said, I don't want to push into Mark's time, and I've got a few things that I need to take care of around the house. So, Batman, yes, I do have targets. They're pretty much in storage. Like I said, I don't shoot as much anymore. We have a local range that I go to, and they provide all the targets and such as that. So, yeah, I don't use my targets much anymore, and most of them I left at the old house that we moved from for the new owner. Dutchman, can't remember. I was a quality manager in a high-speed metal stamping company. Oh, that's awesome. So you know a little bit about machinery as well, huh? That's great. A lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, some people that I meet that don't really know me. They ask what I do, and I tell them what I do on a regular, you know, for a regular job. They're like, "Oh, cool, you know, this, that, and other," and then they, you know, as I become friends with people and they come over, they're like, "Wow, you got a whole machine shop. I didn't know you did that." You know, everybody gets wrapped around the axle that I'm a helicopter pilot, a maintenance test pilot. You know, and to be honest with you, I was doing machine work and shop work way before I was a helicopter pilot. As a matter of fact, I didn't go to flight school until I think I was 27. So all the years previous to that, I spent in the machine shop. I worked at a variety of different machine shops. I got into automotive paint and auto body, I guess about 8 years before I decided to go to flight school. I went into the Army National Guard right out of high school. Back then I was infantry. I was a gun guy. I fixed guns. That's what I worked on. That was my job in the Army, was a small arms repairist. And I was always into machinery and equipment and all that. When I was in high school, I did my internship as a machinist, and whenever I went into the guard, naturally guns. I love guns. It made sense, you know. And then I guess in 2000, 2000, I decided to apply for flight school, and I got accepted, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I went active duty Army shortly after flight school, and me and the missus met right before I went on active duty, and of course we did our tour on active duty, and then after my tour was up, I went to the border, and the border of the United States and Mexico, and I was there for I think about right at a year, maybe a little bit longer, and had a little incident in one of the helicopters, and long story short, I messed up my back and they retired me. So they told me I'd never fly a helicopter again. So they told me to go to ACAP, which is kind of the unemployment office for the Army. And I went there, and the very first job that popped up was a helicopter test pilot down here at Fort Rucker. So I applied, and they picked me up, and I've been here ever since. So it's kind of, you know, I was kind of disgruntled whenever they put me out, so they're spitting your eye, Army. So here I am now, flying helicopters. So who else here? Hey, CNK, what's going on, buddy? So I've been rambling on this whole time. What are you guys talking about? Let me catch up for a minute. All right, great story, Captain. It's true. It's a story. Life has a funny way of working out, don't it, Carl? Hey, Katrina. So I have in front of me the salad tongs. And some of the guys at work, we had a, what was that party? I can't remember if it was Christmas or New Year's or what it was. But anyway, everybody cooked something and, you know, put stuff together and brought food, and we kind of had a party at work. And one of the guys, he was just fascinated by these salad tongs. And of course, I had my spatula and some other stuff there as well. But he asked me, man, how do you do all that? Well, it's pretty simple, really. I just start out with 1-inch round stock aluminum. And first thing I do is drill the big hole. Then I go to the milling machine and I cut all the small holes and deburr it. It's 1/4 tap on this end, and there you go. There's your handles. Now the spring, on the other hand, was a pain in the ass, because try to find a stainless steel spring. Yeah, I challenge you that. So I ended up having to make the damn spring out of some stainless steel safety wire, and it actually worked pretty good. But anyway, salad tongs, they work fantastic. Yeah, they are nice for burgers. I don't even use my spatula very often. I really don't. If we make a cake or something like that, I'll use the spatula. But for the most part, yeah, I use these. I wear these out, man. I'll tell you. Matter of fact, if these go down for whatever reason, I'm rickety-tick going to have to build a new set. So. Are you going to bring that up, huh, Carl? Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, buddy. Yeah, what Carl's talking about is, here a while back I did a video of the ball turning attachment, and when I went to tap the hole for the centerpiece on it that keeps it lined up, apparently I grabbed the wrong drill bit. So yeah, it was too small. It was undersized. So, and the funny thing is, I just made the statement, I don't want to break this tap off, you know, and I was taking measures to where I didn't break the tap. Well, if you guessed I broke the tap, yeah, I broke the tap. I drilled the hole with the wrong drill bit, and then I started the tap. If I remember right, I started the tap with the milling machine, And that's when I said I'm not going to power tap this because I don't want to break the tap. So I got my tap wrench out and moved off to the side, and I started, cutting the threads for the hole, and yeah, the tap broke. So yeah, make sure you get the right size drill bit. So, by the way, Carl, you liking that hammer? My little pecker I sent you? I hope you like it. I did say bad words, Mrs. I did. I didn't put that on the video, and yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Dutchman, that spring, it's in the garage. I don't have the yeah, dude. So bear with me just a second. So I'm gonna use some just some flimsy safety wire, and I'll show you guys how I made this spring. So I'll pan down. So I've got this little mandrel, if you will, with a slot in it, and I put it in the lathe. And this is not the wire that I used. I'm just using it to demonstrate. But anyway, I just put it in the lathe and turn the lathe on, and basically spin the lathe like so. And the other wire that I use is way, way, way stiffer than this. So basically that's how I made the spring. But yeah, like I said, go to your local hardware store, try to find stainless steel springs. If you find some, let me know. I am, Dutchman. I am. I'm familiar with that. I was never. I'll get right back to you. I was never a tool and die maker. I've made tools and I've made dies. As a matter of fact, I had to make a broach for the $25 bandsaw. One of the pulleys that I bought didn't have a keyway cut in it, and I don't own a broach set. Or well, I didn't. So I had to make a 1/4-inch broach, and I used some mild steel 1/4-inch stock, and then I turned it to a 2-degree taper, and then I came back on the lathe and I cut the notches in it to make a broach. And it worked real well in aluminum. It's it's not heat treated or anything like that, but it was sharp enough to cut through the aluminum. So, but I'm not a tool and die maker by no stretch of the imagination. No, those guys are a different breed. Those guys are awesome, but I am familiar with that. Mark Dennison, can you make cogs? Yes, I can make cogs. If you're talking about pulleys, like a cog pulley, I can make those. I have the knowledge and the ability. There's one piece of equipment that I don't have that I'm looking into right now. I don't have a dividing plate for my Melon Machine. I'm looking into it. I'm gonna get one because I also want to cut some gears, and to make a cog pulley, I have to degree that. Um, you know what? Stand by. I'll be right back. Okay, so what Mark's talking about as far as cogs, and what I was talking about as far as the dividing plate, I'm gonna put the camera down. So you take a piece of round stock, whether you want to make a gear or a cog pulley or whatever you're doing, you're going to turn this diameter to the size that you need it. Now, if you're going to put gears or cogs or anything like that on there, you're going to have spacing. So cogs would look something like this, okay? All the way around that tooth, or not tooth, the workpiece. Or you're going to have gears. Okay, this sucks, but I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Or you're going to have gears. Now you have to divide each one of these cuts all the way around to an equal number so that every time you turn this, the dividing plate sets you up so that when you get done, when you get to the end, you don't overcut two gears or two cogs or whatever you have. So basically a dividing plate divides this workpiece by however many teeth, cogs or gear teeth or whatever you want to do. So if you've got, let's say this is a 28 tooth gear, we're going to simply divide this 28 times. So that's what a dividing plate does, dividing head, if you will. And I don't have one of those, but I do plan to get one. There's no limit to how small I can make anything, Mark. The size is irrelevant. It's all about the dividing plate. I've got to have the dividing plate so that I don't overcut the gears.
Hey, baby.
Yeah. Hey, beer lady's here. Be right back.
Hey, everybody. You need anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm wrapping it up because
Okay.
yeah. All right.
But there's no rush as long as you don't mess up Mark's show. I can't remember. Is it coming on at 1?
I don't know, Mark. What time are you coming
Mark,
on?
you coming on at 1, baby?
Okay, buddy, cool. Yeah, Mark, if you want me to make you a gear or something, just let me know. And what time are you coming on today? Post that right quick so I know. Forget my no, Mark, we're not forgetting your show. No, we're not doing that. All right.
Lori's here.
Lori's here.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Lori? Hey, Lori. Lori Van Who's here? How you doing, sweetheart? It's good to see you here.
Stay.
Captain walks off screen. Yeah. Well, Lori, it's a very slow process. I'm really trying to get my machine shop back up and running. And I don't have Wi-Fi out here. So that's a problem right there. 13:30 your time. Yeah, 1:30. I don't have Wi-Fi out here. So I'm working with the Lammy and Mark and a couple of other guys that are giving me some good tips as to how I'm going to go about getting Wi-Fi out in the shop. And I've got a monitor, I've got several cameras, but I need to get a new laptop to set up out here, and that'll help me out.
Oh, that man's being sweet to me.
You're the perfect wife.
I
Yes,
love
she
him.
is. She is awesome. She's not just because she's standing right here, but I truly mean it.
I'll leave. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Love you, babe.
I love you too, baby.
Anyway.
I'll see you inside, okay?
Okay. I'll be in here in a
It's
few
no rush.
minutes. Yes, Mrs. is awesome. She's everything to me. She really is. She's been through a lot, had a tough time. You know, we had a bout with cancer that she won. Very happy to say that, I'm glad she's my wife. She's everything. So. So, all right, guys, I'm wrapping it up. Is there anything you guys want to talk about or ask me about or curious about or anything? Thanks, Carl. Appreciate that. Oh, that reminds me, Carl. Be right back. So, that hammer I sent you, Carl, I hope you're liking it. I hope you're liking it a lot. Whenever I built that, I was working on a project that that I needed a soft blow hammer for, and I put that one together, but it didn't suit me for what I was doing, and I decided to build another one. I built it a little bit different than I did Carl H's hammer. This hammer is dual purpose. It is a soft blow hammer, but it also doubles as the wrench for the drawbar on my Melon Machine. So when I put a collet in, let me get a collet. So when I put a collet in the Melon Machine, okay, right? Collet goes into the coil. Well, there's a long threaded rod that comes down, and you tighten that rod up, and that secures the cutting bit. That secures the cutting bit in the collet. So I was using a wrench, and I would loosen it up, and then I would take a soft hammer and knock it out and whatnot, and this, that, and the other. And I had so many tools laying around, it wasn't very convenient. So what I did, I remembered years ago, I used to play with ATVs and motorcycles and such as that, and I ran across a spark plug wrench, the stamped sheet metal spark plug wrench. So I took the spark plug wrench, and I turned down a piece of aluminum that would press inside of it, and then I threaded this handle onto it. So what I do, I climb up on top of my Melon Machine, and I can tighten or loosen the drawbar, and then flip this right over and hit the drawbar, and it knocks the collet loose so I can take the workpiece out. So that's the one that I use. I also use it, on the lathe and other stuff anytime I need a little hammer. But there's the story on mine. Yes, it is aluminum alloy. Aluminium. Aluminum, aluminium, tomato, tomato. All right, Roy, we'll see you later, buddy. All right, oh, never mind. You're staying here till the show's over. Very cool. Mark needs a new triangle. You know what? If you go back in my videos, and you go back to a shop, I think it's a shop day with Captain. I did several projects. I had a bird feeder project that I was working on. As a matter of fact, I was doing some work with a $25 bandsaw. I think I did the serving tray for Mrs. that Nadina Ann sent her from Australia. If you go back to that video, I'm pretty sure it was that video that I commented I was going to modify the bird feeder stand and use the rest of the material to make Mark a triangle. And I never did do it, but now that you say that, I almost have to do it. Yeah, I just caught your comment, Carl. Yeah, the Bridgeport R8 collets is what I used. I just happened to grab a 5C collet, but I also use the my Melon Machine is a R8 collet setup. It is. But yeah, back to the triangle. I so need to do that. And I, make it ridiculous, like 3 feet triangle, something he can hit, because he sucks at hitting the one he's got. No offense, Mark, love you, bro. But hey, man, lessons go a long way. But anyway, Vivian, hey Vivian, smiling, you're here. Awesome, good to see you. Happy birthday, Mark. Yeah. Let's see, man, it's gotta be late for Vivian. It's like 2 in the morning or something. But I'm glad you're here. Nevertheless, I'm glad you're here. All right, gang. I'm going to talk for about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to cut it off. I did have to mention the triangle, Mark. I had to, man. I had to. Hey Charlie, you're from LA, right? I think you are. We just hired a guy that is from LA, a great dude, man. He's an awesome guy. I didn't think about that until just now. Okay. Okay, Charlie wants to see the turbo. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. All right, so a lot of you guys know I'm kind of a gearhead, hot rodder, old school kind of guy. So Charlie wanted to see the turbo. Damn thing's heavy. That is the turbo set up for my truck. I hadn't got around to installing it. I've just life. I'm too busy. I got too many things going on. But yeah, that's the turbo that I got for my little blue truck. It's quite large. You can tell. Look at the size of my hand versus the size of the turbo. It's a little bit overkill and ridiculous, but hey, I got one rule: fast it'll go, just ain't fast enough. I had to shut that door. It's cold in that room. This side of the shop's the only side that's climate controlled. So whenever I open that other door, it really gets cold quick. Go big or go home. I'm with you, Katrina. How am I going to mount it to my horse? Well, I hadn't figured that one out yet. I figure some kind of strapping system and plug the exhaust intake right up to its ass. I don't know. I hadn't figured it all out, Charlie. I kind of do this shooting from the hip, you know. But yes, that turbo's for my little blue truck, my older truck. I'm sure you've seen a video of it. It's a 1979 F100. So. I don't have a rotary table, Carl. Um, I, I I need to get one. I've actually got a project coming up that I want to do a video on, and I need a rotary table. So I'm probably looking at purchasing a rotary table in the next few weeks so that I can do that project. My what? My pet what? Marky asks, what is your pet in the show? I'm not real sure what you're asking me, Mrs. I don't understand that. 88 key. Hey, yeah, you guys, if you're not on board, I'd love to have you guys on 88 keys. Be great to have you there. Don't worry, Mrs. Rotary tables aren't that expensive. I promise. Kinda. What do I most dislike? Um, okay, what do you? I hate the most. There's a few things that are kind of do's and don'ts. So when I'm working on machinery, and a lot of people don't understand this, they just don't know. Whenever I'm working on my lathe or my mill or I'm welder, I'm doing any kind of work on the machinery, um, it, if you can, don't ever walk up and startle someone or drop something or tap them on the shoulder or anything like that, because when I'm working on the machinery, I'm very focused on what I'm doing because, you know, I'm using micrometers. I'm dealing with, you know, thousandths of inches, you know, very, very precise measurements. And the last thing you want to do is startle somebody, you know, and their hands go into the machine or, you know, injure themselves, mess up the workpiece or whatever. Um, it's just some things like that that I don't like in the shop, you know. Um, and I've talked to the missus, you know, hey, when you come out here, you know, uh, be kind of quiet and, you know, soft spoken. Don't make any sudden loud bangs or anything whenever I'm, you know, standing behind the milling machine or the lathe. Um, I think one of the things that I hate the most is when if I scrap a part and it never fails. It'll be the last cut. It'll be the last hole that I drilled. It'll be the last hole that I tap. It never fails. That's whenever a tap will break, or you drop the part, or you cut that last cut is just it's just too much, and now you're undersized and very frustrating. Or you grab the wrong drill bit and drill the wrong size hole. You know, those kind of things are, you know, the things that really aggravate me the most. But I would say the biggest thing that just absolutely burns my ass is to break a tap. I would have to say that's the biggest thing, you know, in my shop that gets me wound up. Okay, guys. Oh, I went over a little bit. Okay. I'm wrapping it up. This is gonna end the stream. I'm glad you guys came out with me today. I had a good time. That was pretty fun. You know, maybe we can do it again. The next stream, I'll most likely be building a project. I don't know what that project is right now, but you guys feel free to comment in the comments, and if you'd like for me to build something, you know, put it in there and let me know, you know, what you got on your mind, within reason. I'm not building a spaceship. I'm not building a time traveling machine, Mark Dennison. But if you guys have some little knick-knack stuff you want me to build, if you want me to do a live video on the pizza cutter, I can do that as well, or tongs, or reload, or nuts and bolts, or you know, if I get my dividing head, I'll do a live video. That'd be cool. I'll do a live video on cutting a gear with that. And now that I say that, I'm sitting here thinking I may do a live video of how to cut a worm gear with a tap. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that, but it's pretty cool. So I can set up in the lathe, and I put a tap in the 3-jaw chuck of the lathe, and then use a piece of stock that I have I have to set up a jig on the crosshead. And the way it works, I'll turn it sideways so you guys can see, as the tap rotates in the chuck against the stock turns and matches the thread cut of the tap. It makes a worm gear. It's pretty cool. I learned about that about a year ago, and I've made several worm gear. They work great. It's fantastic. But it's kind of mind melding to watch it work, because when I first heard about cutting the worm gear with a tap, I thought, the hell, who does that? You know. But actually, after I did it, I thought, hey man, right on. That worked good. So, new project in the future. Play. I don't know about that, Vivian. We may give that a look. Thank you, Batman. Hey, Bob. I didn't see you hanging around. Good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you made it. We're just shop talking. All right, gang. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go inside, get me some lunch. I'm actually fixing to smoke a brisket that... It's huge. It's like 2.5 feet long that I cut down and into, I think, 4 or 5 pieces. So I'm gonna get that going on the barbecue. But I want to say thanks to all you guys for watching the stream. You know, I appreciate it, and I will at some point I will play the piano for you guys and show you my progress there that I've made with Miss Anita. That's been painful, but I have made some progress, and I'll share that with you guys at a later date. But for now, I'll say hi and bye to all of you wonderful people that decided to spend the morning out here in my shop. So, Carl H., Batman, of course, Mrs., love you, baby. Charlie, glad to see you. C&K, Swanson, Lori, glad you came along. I don't know who all's here. I can't read the chat that fast, so if I missed somebody, I do apologize. Kevin, hey, Kevin. I hope to see you guys in the future. Well, like I said, I have some projects coming up that I think I may just do them live if I can get the cameras and all set up. Don't know if that's something you guys are interested in, but if you are, let me know. And if you come up with something you'd like for me to make, just let me know. But Terry B, Eric, okay. Vivian, I'm glad you came along. CNK, Carl H, Terry B, all you guys, it's great to have you. I enjoyed doing the live stream. It was a lot of fun. I was a little apprehensive, about doing it, but I'm glad I did. Yes, CNK, yes, I will. I promise. At some point, I promise. Okay, guys, I'm gonna shut it down, and because this is live on here, the minute that I hit that button, it's going dead. So. I'm going to pick up a few things and let you guys say your highs and buys. And if you see me wandering around the shop here, just ignore that. But anyway, I got a few things I got to put away. All right, gang. Until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Oh, roll tide. Forgot to say that. Roll tide.